live and recorded. Good morning. How are you?
Please join me.
I want you to be alone up here. Look lonely. Well, you know, good. It's a lot of fun.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Anyone as commissioner controlling or anyone?
That's mine. I'm good. I'll control.
Are we starting?
Yes.
You are ready when you're ready, Dr. Danny.
So we are ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm Theresa Daniel. I'm your Dallas County Commissioner for District 1 in Dallas County, and that is the eastern part of the county. And you know what? I was looking for my map. Oh, there it is. So that you can get an idea of what are we talking about? What is the County Commissioner's District? Because that's one of those things that people, thank you very much. We can do nothing by ourselves. The shaded areas are the cities in Dallas County. There are 26 of them. And then the darkest lines are the County Commissioner's districts. But before I do any of that stuff, I do want to say that we do nothing by ourselves. And I think if anyone's been in any kind of organization or business or in your family, you realize we do nothing by ourselves. So I first wanted to just say my staff is here. I do want to start with, where'd Claudia go?
She's running around.
Yeah. The person who manages this building is Claudia Babacus, and I first wanted to start with her. And Aaron Morey is my chief of staff, and Gabby Kadani over here is a executive assistant, and then Martha Rodriguez is the one who kind of keeps everything on keel for the rest of the stuff. But you know what? There are a lot of other people that made it possible for us to be here today. The SBE team, you'll be hearing a lot from Michael Frosch over here as the director, plus Linus Filler-Craft, helping us out, and LaSonia Allen over here. You know, we live in a world of technology, and you know, it's not getting any less than what it ever was either. So if you don't like it, that's too bad. Get over it. And we have a very capable Cisco team. Starting with Avinash is over here, as well as, Avinash is with the Dallas County IT.
Yes.
And so he was the one making the interface with what's going on with Dallas County and then with Cisco. The Cisco team is Mr. Wilkes, Brian Morgan, Yilin Wing, and Murtasa. And I just wanted to say thank you, because all of us know we can do nothing by ourselves. The next question that people often have is, so what do I do? What is a county commissioner and how does any of this fit in? I do want to say welcome to Road and Bridge 1, which is a vestige from the historical beginnings of Texas government. And the state created counties and then created commissioner seats so that they could help manage the whole state. They created each of the 254 counties the same way, in that there are 4 commissioners and a county judge. Each of the commissioners is from a district, as you saw on the map, and the county judge is for the whole county. And so that's, each one of the commissioners has an office downtown, and then each one of us has an office in the district. This particular office had been one that provided, there used to be a 35-guy crew that helped maintain the roads and bridges, thus the name, in the district, but in the unincorporated areas. you will note that Dallas is a pretty urbanized area. So that I have half a mile of unincorporated road, and I don't need 35 guys to take care of that. So I no longer have a crew, but I work with my cities. They say, invite Theresa, she brings money. Because I usually match a 50-50 match with my cities on road and bridge projects. But if you look around this building, you can still see where the bay doors were. But we partner with the Texas A&M AgriLife and the Master Gardeners, and thus we have a very large community garden. We have experimental research going on grape arbors, as well as a myriad of vegetables and fruits. So far this season, we have already harvested about 1,000 pounds of fruits and vegetables that we share with pantries and with shelters. So that to me is the very essence of what is county government, which is public health, public safety. But I just wanted to say welcome. And I'm real proud to have you here because I think this is one testament to say that county government, first of all, doesn't have to be ugly, and that it functions very, very well. And I think that there is a little video that the Texas Association of Counties made that gives a nice overview of what county government is. So if we can roll that, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, let's get. There we go. Where is that coming from? Is somebody else connecting?
a little bit.
So, how about you?
I got an email, we're based out of Garland, but we're a subcon, we've been a subcontractor for the city of Dallas doing streets and sidewalks where they.
I understand that.
I had attended a few of the other online events during COVID, so who was these other ladies?
I'm Leon Clement. I am the Commissioner of Precinct 4 in Cook County.
Theresa Daniel, Dallas County Commissioner, District 1.
In the state of Texas, there's
Sounds like we're beginning. Okay, maybe not. Now we go.
I'm Leon Clement. I am the Commissioner of Precinct 4 in Cook County.
Theresa Daniel, Dallas County Commissioner, District 1.
In the state of Texas, there's 254 counties. Each county, I don't care how big it is, how rural it is, how urban or suburban it is, every county is broken up into 4 precincts. We call it Commissioner's Court because it's 4 commissioners and a county judge.
We primarily do public health and public safety with a number of other tasks. It's running all of the elections, collecting taxes,
Funding the jail.
transportation, roads and bridge work, trails.
We have a county ambulance service. We're responsible for that.
We have 2 museums here that we run.
There is no one more important thing. They all fit together like a bunch of puzzle pieces. It's a very interesting job. If you've been through a flood, the roads become all important because if you can't get down a road or it isolates your property, the rest of it doesn't matter.
We're always very aware of the urban versus rural dichotomy. And what that really means, practically speaking, is the scale of things. There is a county jail in each of the counties. If I'm talking about 40% of 5,000 people, that's different than if your jail holds 20 people and you're talking about 40% of 20. And so there are differences, but there are so many similarities. We all want what's best for the residents of our county. We all want what's best as a whole so that public health and public safety are what they can be for all Texans. The national news is talking about the gridlock in government. They're referring to the federal level of government, and I would like to say, at least here locally, we don't really have that option. We have to have a balanced budget. We have to deal with public health, public safety. We have to run the elections. Those aren't options, and all of us agree that we're stronger together.
We all share the same problem. Some things get a little argumentative from time to time, but there's nothing wrong with that. That's good, actually. But the thing to remember is we're nothing more than an extension of the state of Texas. And Texas works best when the local people are the ones that decide how the rules should be enforced.
It's 30 seconds.
Oh, that's a cute ending.
Yeah, that's the Texas Association of Counties.
We're good.
They wanted to provide something that talked about, we're 254 counties. We all do the same thing, but it turns out it's in slightly different ways. I forgot to mention a couple housekeeping items. Restrooms are right around through here to your right. There's a lot of information here, both on small business pieces, but then also on county and what we do. You'll find voter registration cards. You'll find bug spray. Mosquitoes are still a problem. West Nile we're still finding cases of it, so we're still spraying and that's public health. That's what we do. I also put over there a couple other pieces of paper because they're just frequently asked questions. People say, well, what is the breadth of what you do? And this is just a chart we ended up coming up with that has the types of work, the types of services that Dallas County provides, and then how we have to work together with the different levels of government. So that's over there too. And people often have a question, well, what does the city do and what does the county do? Because where do I go for this and that and the other? So we just created basically, it's a little Venn diagram that talks a little bit about how we're very similar, but we're different. And we end up complementing each other. And I work very, very closely and I think very well with my cities of the city of Dallas, the city of Richardson, Garland, and Mesquite. And the last little points I'd like to make is that you're probably aware that the new census came out and Dallas County has 2.6, a little over 2.6 million people in it. The current tax rate, because one of the main things we do is collect taxes so that we can, in fact, provide the services that we talk about. We will be decreasing the tax rate a little bit, and we'll be going from 2.3974 to 227,946. You go, well, what does that mean? It means a little bit less on your tax bill. 72% of our operating budget comes from property taxes. The rest coming from grants and the variety of exchanges between federal, state, and local governments. This budget year that starts October 1 of 2021 it'll be just over $1.1 billion. And that's why we think it's very important to see how we can work better with the community. We stress wanting to have whatever we do in Dallas County look like the people of Dallas County. But that's why you're here now, is how do you work with Dallas County? And so Mr. Michael Frosch, who is our esteemed Director of Purchasing, will lead you through that and help you make up some of those decisions.
Sure.
And we'll see you in a
Thank
few minutes when you've got your
Thank
questions.
you so much. So I'll see if I'm going in the right direction first. My screen back up, please. First of all, I'm Mike Frosch, Director of Purchasing, as Dr. Daniels. I want to thank Dr. Daniels and her team for doing this today. We love to come out in the community because we don't get to see you very often. We're inside our office and doing what we do to serve the Dallas County citizens day in, day out. We take that responsibility very importantly. And we make sure that as we spend your dollars as taxpayers, we want to make sure we do it in an open, fair, and transparent way. So that's what we really want to do. My little background about myself: I worked with the city of Dallas for 33 years, retired as a purchasing director, and then came over to Dallas County to continue to serve the citizens of Dallas. That's a nice segue into $3.1 billion being spent by the city of Dallas, the 1.1 with Dallas County, and that's just in just the Dallas general area. So there's a lot of money being available for people like yourself that want to do business with public agencies. So we're going to walk through a little bit about how to do business with us. First of all, have any of you done business with Dallas County? Nobody, which is good. That's what we want. If you have never done business with us, we want you to do business with us. We're open for business. So one thing we're trying to do is explain that we're open for business, and we really want you to submit bids and proposals for things that you actually can provide. So when I arrived in Dallas County, we did not have an online system. So that's very difficult to know what we're going to buy if we don't communicate very effectively to you. So we went with an online procurement system, like a lot of public agencies, to notify you based on commodities and things of that nature. So we'll walk through that. Oh, maybe. All right. Possibly. Am I doing that? Okay. Well, we have the online folks here. So just a little housekeeping for the online. You're going to be in a listen-only mode. It's a virtual event, obviously. Q&A feature. Please use the Q&A feature. We are recording this, so anything we say here today, we're going to record it and put it on our Dallas County website. So don't worry about taking too many notes, and we'll be here afterwards to answer questions. Am I doing that? Okay. So for those of you online, there's a Q&A icon in the top right corner. You can use that. You can enter your name, the business you actually provide, and your information that'll be available for everybody in this group. Well, figure this out. Okay. So we have a really small team in Dallas County that's working to satisfy our needs for Dallas County. We've got a small team of 20 buyers. And like I said, our core focus is to be open, fair, and transparent on how we spend your money on a day-to-day basis. So part of that is making sure that we have a clear understanding of what the departments need and then what you have offered to the departments. We get a lot of questions about what we're actually procuring. What do you actually buy? You know, as an organization with 5,000 plus employees, we have a lot of services that we need. You know, professional services, like any large organization, architect, engineers, consultant services, goods and services to support the jail, health and human services, obviously stuff for COVID. We have the tax office. We have a number of offices that we're supporting, the court systems as well. So we have a lot of traditional janitorial goods and services, anything from buying office supplies to construction. So we do a lot inside Dallas County. And then another thing that we get a lot of questions on is how do we do business and what type of methods do we use? And in the state of Texas, we have a number of things. Most public agencies use these terminologies, qualification based. I mean, that's qualifications are things that, you know, if they're less than $50,000, that's the threshold we have. We don't advertise in the public paper, but we do put it on our website. That's important. So if you register with us, you'll get notices for everything we do, whether it's informal or formal. But the threshold for going in the Dallas Morning News or the Commercial Record is $50,000. So we'll use the term request for bids. You know, those are when you have the lowest bidder meeting the requirements. And if it's less than $50,000, we make that decision internally. If it's over $50,000, we go to our board. I apologize.
We're driving over here, Mike.
I think you're driving it too fast. Somebody is. All right, RFPs, proposals. That's when we want to go out and we have something that's not necessarily the lowest price, has some other criterion that you're looking for. You know, things that are quality based. You know, price is important, but it's not the only factor in doing buying the services or goods. So proposals take a little bit longer. Obviously, they're more complex because we let every one of the proposers present to the evaluation team, and it's a team evaluating, not one person. So we have a team of experts inside Dallas County that reviews every proposal. They review their initial submission you submit, and then they have a Q&A with you demonstrating what you want to talk about from your capacity. And then we do a Q&A with you, and then we actually score those. In the RFQ, I just kind of mentioned that qualification-based professional services, typically they're two-step. We get qualifications first, and then if you're qualified, we go into a proposal process. Next slide, please. Okay, thresholds. Less than 3,000 by statute, state law, we can move forward relatively quickly. So I say that for a reason, because if you're new to doing business with any public agency, anything less than $50,000 in any city or state, any city, state, or county, they move very quickly. Less than 10 days usually, they put a notice out, they use their portal, like we're going to talk about, they make a decision, you know about it, you're winning, or you don't, you move on. You don't have to wait months like you do with a formal bid or proposal that takes sometimes months to get to the solution. So as a small business or as a business in general, you can move on from that solicitation very quickly. You know if you're successful or not. If it's over 50,000, it gets to be more complicated because that's where the threshold of our board approval, because they want to make sure I'm doing my job, that we're going out and being open, fair, and competitive in the processes that how we received the notices, who we noticed, who responded. They ask all those detailed questions before we go to the board on how we made a good decision on moving forward. But that takes time, but that diligence is important because we're spending taxpayers' dollars. So I can't just move forward and say I want to buy it from company A without demonstrating how we ended up there. So it takes a little longer, but the diligence is important because we're spending your money. Next slide, please. Okay, this is our website for Dallas County that shows all of our formal bids. I said formal before was over 50,000. So because you may not want to register with our online portal, but you want to see what's going on that's formal. So we have a PDF of everything that we're putting out on our Dallas County website over $50,000. So you can see if you're interested in doing, if you have any interest in that, or you could be a potential subcontractor there. So you want to see those scopes, the work, and then potentially partner up there. So it's an easy way to look at it in the PDF format without registering with our system. Next slide, please. Our next slide shows the all active bid solicitations. This is actually our online BIDSYNC platform. So it will show everything as you see on that slide. In the blue is a hyperlink. If you're registered, you can log in there and look at the actual documents for anything that's out there, that's whether it's $1 or $100 million. So all solicitations. It'll be categorized and it will tell you online whether it's informal, which means small, or formal. Next slide, please. What I want to tell you, because I get a lot of questions about, does it cost money to register on BIDSYNC? It does not. It's free. The most important part about this, it doesn't cost you a dime to register with BIDSYNC. But like every other platform, they will send you emails and want you to go to a premier or a premium package to see other private businesses' business. So you don't have to do that to see Dallas County, City of Dallas, or anybody else that uses it, but you have to do if you want to see private businesses. You'll see them grayed out if you're not registered with the premium package. But for Dallas County, we paid the price so you can look at all that. Next slide. The benefits of using an online platform, we primarily went to the online platform to make sure it was transparent on how we're doing business with Dallas County. That was our primary goal. We didn't have a way to be, we had transparency in the form of the state statute where you have to register and notify in the paper, but the paper, as we know, is not the best way to notify people. It's probably outdated, so we have to do that by statute, but we knew electronic notices are the way to notify people based on commodities that you select and interest you have. So BIDSYNC, there's a couple different platforms out there. Dallas County settled on this platform. The thing you should note is there's 90,000 other agencies using the platform. So if you're selling a commodity, you're not specific to me, you'll see other notices for those commodities, right? So whether it's in Canada, United States, they have them all over. So you'll have a number of opportunities for registered commodities to see notices that you can just look online and make a decision whether you want to move forward. It's paperless. You can submit things to Dallas County without ever showing up at our office or worrying about FedEx or anything of that nature. You don't have to worry about time constraints because a lot of times that's what comes in when you don't get there on time. As we know, when you're rushing through downtown trying to turn in a bid, that does not happen with the system. But you have to be aware and recognize that nowadays, with a lot of folks being online, make sure your internet connectivity is good. We can't control that. We get a lot of calls last minute when they're trying to do something and it's just spooling and it's not really, I can't do anything about it. So make sure you're allowing plenty of time when you're submitting things because you're not the only ones out there trying to do it. Okay, next page. There's a number of videos that are out there to help you, instruct you on how to not only submit a bid, but also how to register. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. It's all online. You can look at the links. One thing about BIDSYNC is there's a lot of videos embedded as you're moving through that shows you how to do something. If you're stuck, there'll be a video to the left. You can move through and click the video, watch it, then they have a helpline to help you there. All right, next page. This is one where I spend a little bit of time. As I said, I'm old. I've been doing this a long time, and I see a lot of the common issues or concerns that come through in my office, and I want to talk about them. Top 10 things that we want to consider when you're bidding or proposing with us or any other public agency. A bid security. Is it necessary or not? Be very, pay close attention to that. If it says you need a bid security and you do not submit that bid security, you'll be deemed non-responsive by my office, and I can't do anything about it. State law requires it in certain things. We do not do bid securities on anything that's not required by law. A lot of agencies require it on a lot of solicitations for goods or services because they want to make sure you're serious about submitting that document, right? So we don't do that because we don't want to have a barrier for you doing business with Dallas County. We understand if you're taking the time to do that, we expect that you're serious, but what's required by law, we will give you require the bid security. On the second to the left, award method. I mean, that's, if you do business with Dallas County or any other public agency, we'll have the method of award. We'll tell you it's going to be by line, by group, all or nothing. Those are very critical. So this is where your partnering comes in. This is where your opportunity to do subcontracting comes in. If you're a niche subcontractor in those areas, that's where you would reach out to somebody that may be a GC or a prime or somebody in different areas and come together to make sure you can do an all or nothing or an all or none type bid. We try to unbundle, that's a fancy word to say break it down as much as we can, where it makes sense practically, so small businesses or businesses that are a relatively small size can do our work. Some agencies do not. They require you to do the whole thing. As an example, janitorial services for the whole Dallas County would be a large solicitation. But we break it up by quadrants, so smaller businesses can handle certain quadrants of Dallas County, provide opportunity for people to do business. The next thing is read instructions, obviously pretty simple, but you'd be surprised people that don't actually read all the documents because they're very long, and I know they're kind of boring sometimes, but ultimately they're very, very important. We try to put the most important things at the beginning of the document, thinking you might get a little bit tired at the bottom, and the general terms and conditions are the same for most of our solicitations. But the very top talks about the method of procurement, how we're going to do it, proposal, qualifications, or low bid, the lowest apparent bidder. It's going to tell you the term, how long it's going to be. And we tried to go with a 2 to 3 year term so we can let you as a business owner actually leverage your spend, and we can leverage our spend to drive down the cost. And we don't have to go out in the market every 6 months to go out and get a commodity. If the commodity will not hold, we want you to tell us that as well, because we're not experts at everything. You are. You're experts on what you do on a day in, day out, and we want you to tell us that. Okay, make sure your products, of course, make sure that you can actually deliver what you're saying you can deliver. We're going to verify that, but I've been in this business long enough to know people that are just getting started may say they can do something they can't, and we can put you out of business because we'll expect you to do it. If you say you're going to do something and you say you're going to do it for a certain price, we're going to expect you to do it because I'm committing, you're committing to me, and I'm going to commit to my board. You can do that, and we're going to move forward. So make sure that you can do what you say you're going to do. If not, bring a partner in and do that with them. Attend the pre-bid meetings or pre-proposal meetings. That's very important. Bottom left. That's where you have a chance, like you are here, to talk to people, talk about what you do as a subcontractor or GC, where areas you may need to have a subcontractor, or people that just have an organic B2B relationship. It's very important. It's a lot easier now with the virtual things. So you don't have to go run around town. So you can do the pre-bids online. So you don't have to decide which one you want to go to. So it makes it a little bit easier. And the connections are very, very important. Our SBE team will provide a list of subcontractors and scopes that we want you to look at if we think those are commercial useful functions, which means there's good identifiable scopes inside those projects where we expect that you're going to subcontract. And when we do our SBE compliance, we're going to look at that and see if you've talked to anybody. And if you haven't, we're not going to say you did a good faith effort. So if you're going to have to call somebody blindly and you're actually certified in those areas, obviously that probably would give you a leg up on somebody else. So we want you to do that. And then another thing on pre-bids is we want you to tell us your Q&A. What do you think about what we put out there? That's your one opportunity to tell my team or me what you think about the specifications. If you think they're restrictive, if you think there's something in there that's not industry standard, we want you to tell us. We don't want you to sit idly and say, this is not the way we do the procurement for this commodity. And then at the end, you're not successful and you didn't take that opportunity. So we look at every one of those questions. And I look at every question on the addendum that goes out before it goes out to make sure we're clearly answering your question and that we're not just giving you an answer, see section 14, because that's sometimes what agencies do. They don't really have interest in answering the questions. They just give you an answer that circles back to the specs. I want to answer the question so we can make sure you're clear. On the top right, keep up with the schedule. Obviously, if you do an online registration with BIDSYNC, you'll get notices of any addendum that goes out, any changes to the specs, anything of that nature. If you don't do an online and you're expecting to keep up with it, you got to look at our website. Good luck. I mean, it just takes some more time for you. The way to get pinged, you can put your email address in there, your staff's email address in there, and get multiple notices for any of our solicitations. So there's no real reason why you can't keep up with our schedule, but it's very important because in the government, the most important thing to me at the end of the day is that when it says it's due, it's due. And I can't do anything about it. And if you come in 10 minutes late, it's 10 minutes late and I can't accept it. So be very careful about that. Correct pricing sheet, common sense, really, quite frankly, but sometimes we have people submit things that are just an error. And if the statute says, if you make an error, I have to accept it. It's going to be the benefit of the agency. So if it's 100 and it's supposed to be times $100 and you put 100 times $10, I'm going to accept your $10. I'm going to call you and say, all right, are you going to be able to accept that or not? Because I have to move forward with you at $10, not at $100. Be very careful. We're not allowed to change it on a low bid. By law, we cannot change it for any reason. We have to accept that. So be very careful when you submit things. Bonding requirements, I talked about that a little bit on the bid security, but bonding itself, be careful, make sure you have bonding capacity to handle that need. If you don't, there's bonding assistance, all kinds of assistance in the region. We can help you in those areas, but bonding is very important, as you know. And if you need bonding assistance, we can help you in that area. Small Business Administration has help there as well. There's programs to help you look at your bonding capacity today and how to expand that. This is a good time to talk about how you can partner up in that area, because a lot of times you don't want to use all your bonding capacity on one job. You can partner up and have a real true joint venture, and then you can use theirs as well as bonding capacity and keep some for yourself, right? So that's a good place right there for you to do an opportunity for partnering, a real joint venture. On large projects, we see that happen a lot because they don't really want to use all their bonding capacity on one project. The records building comes to mind. It's $250 million or something like that. They don't want to use all their bonding capacity where they can't do any work themselves. So they partner up with multiple partners, which are good partners, but it actually creates a new joint venture, and that's a different joint venture from the bonding capacity, right? So it keeps it separate. We've reduced all of our bonding in areas that we don't have to have it, like we said a while ago on bid security, because we don't want to have barriers to doing business. Some agencies use bonding on janitorial services. Some agencies, they use it on landscaping. They use it on a lot of services. And I see why they do it, but it really is a barrier to doing business with public agencies. And all we do is inflate the cost because you have to go get the bond and we have to pay for it. Complete and return all your bid documents on time, make a competitive bid. Now, very, very simple. Next page, please. These are a couple of items we have forecasted coming out in the next few months, I would say. So I'm not going to bore you with that. They're all online. Next page. But you can see there's a lot of projects there, a lot of dollars. And next slide, please. This is a real quick snapshot of some capital improvement projects. We have some large capital improvement projects coming out. We have a $35 million parkway on 161 and Beltline. We got a $65 million on Riverfront coming out, $10 million in Singleton area. And we have 1382. We just actually closed that with $2 million. So this is just a sample of what our Public Works Department's doing on a day in, day out. But these lists change frequently based on the demands and or working with the commissioner. So if you register with us, you'll receive all those notices. And next slide. I'm going to touch on small business for just a minute. We have a new director coming in for the Small Business Department in a few weeks. We're excited about that. I was the director of purchasing and the small business with the city of Dallas, so I kind of have that experience. So it's going to be nice to work with somebody that's like-minded, quite frankly. So we're going to have a good opportunity here to continue to increase our opportunities with small businesses. So we really take that very, very seriously. We have some pretty high aspirational goals of 40% on a lot of our projects, but don't let that scare you away because that's aspirational. We know you can't reach it on everyone, but we want you to do stretch. There's stretch goals for a reason. If there's opportunities there, we want you to go for it. If there's not, we want you to demonstrate why there's not. That's all we're trying to do, like every other public agency. Well, we're committed to increasing those numbers for our court, and they take it very seriously as well. Next slide. We're a small business, not a minority business enterprise program, but to be a small business, you have to be certified with these three agencies. Dallas-Fort Worth Minority Supplier Development Council, North Central Texas Regional Certification Agency, and the Women's Business Council Southwest. And we'll have, I think we'll have them speaking here in a minute, so we'll let them talk a little more about that. But that's an important factor. We cannot count anybody that's certified in any other area by our policy. And you have to be in our local MSA, we call it Metropolitan Statistical Area, Dallas County, Tarrant County, Denton County, and Collin County. So I want to close with, we're open for business. You can always call me directly. We're available to talk about anything that you may even, we don't have a solicitation out, but you have an idea, call me. We're always open for ideas. And if we don't have a need right now, I will talk with the department to see if there's an opportunity because we're looking for ways to do things better. Looking for innovation, looking for things that we might not even thought about, but you're an expert in that area and where our departments are doing their day-to-day, I want to know about it because I want to share it with them. So I'll make sure that you, just because you don't see something, you know there's something that just came out that's great, it's going to help us change whatever we're doing in Dallas County, then submit that to me, talk to me, and then I'll work with that. So that's my commitment as the director here. I'm going to turn it over now to Andrew Nash, He's with the DFW Minority Supplier Development Council. Then after that, he'll turn it over to Anita Steele with the Women's Business Council.
All right, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, good morning. I'm Andrew Dash, Director of Operations with the Dallas-Fort Worth Minority Supplier Development Council. I want to welcome you this morning. We do 3 certifications. We do a nationally recognized MBE certification, State of Texas Hub certification, and SBE certification. Again, we certify ethnic minority companies, so you have to be 51% controlled, owned, and managed by ethnic minority, have day-to-day operations, a U.S. citizen, and the rest, we're going to look at a lot of documents there. Again, we're part of the National Minority Supplier Development Council, so you're going to have a nationally recognized certification. We have a memorandum with the state, so if you're not already Hub certified, you're going to get your State of Texas Hub and the SBE, and we just want to make sure that you qualify for the SBE. So we're going to ask, along with your application, for 3 years of tax return, so we can go through and make sure you meet the requirements. There is a size standard for the SBE certification, so again, we're going to require some of those things that are there. So again, I'll put my information in chat. Again, I'm Andrew Dash. My email is andrew@dfwmsdc.com. And if you have any questions, you can go to our website, www.dfwmsdc.com, where we have our online application during this COVID period. All of our applications are online, so you'll be able to go complete the application online, upload the application and all the supporting documents. Usually takes us around 60 days to get your certification through, and once you're approved, we have a new supplier orientation that we invite you to. So again, if you have any questions, definitely reach out to me. And so I'll turn it over to my esteemed colleague, Ms. Anita Steele.
Thank you, Andrew. Good morning, everyone. My name is Anita Steele. I'm the Executive Director of Certification for the Women's Business Council Southwest. And our council, WBCS, represents the WeBank National Certification for Women's Business Enterprises. We are one of 14 regional partner organizations that process and provide the national WBE certification from WeBank. So we've been around for about 25 years. We, in addition to the certification program we offer, we also have programs and events for our members for networking opportunities with other WBEs and our corporate members. So we want to be a resource for our members. I'm going to kind of echo what Andrew said about the certification process. It usually takes 60 to 90 days, but we average around 45 in most cases. We have all of the application and the documentation required is all available online. You can complete your application, upload your documents, and submit to us. From there, we review your documents. It's presented to our certification review committee, and then we also do a site visit. So in addition to the WBE certification, we also offer the State of Texas Hub certification, the WOSB certification from the SBA for contracting with federal agencies, and then we collaborate with Dallas County for the SBE certification for their supplier diversity programs. There's a lot of information online, frequently asked questions. There's a video on how to get certified and the benefits of certification. And you are welcome to call or email me. My email address is asteele, STEELE, at wbcsouthwest.org. And please visit our website. Thank you.
People who are here in the boxes, and also Mr. Michael Frosch. Lots of information. Are there questions? Yes, sir.
I have I'm in doing Foster, the founder and CEO of Aisle 5. So my question is, I was going through some of the websites on some of the certifications in order to do business with Dallas County. How do some of us go through the barrier of some of the membership dues? Some of the dues here are close to around 3,000. So are these annual dues? Are these just monthly dues, quarterly dues? And
So Mike, right over there. Mike, what do you mean? I know, but if he can come to them, would that work?
yeah, no.
It's my nephew. It's my nephew.
Oh, yeah, I didn't figure. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna repeat my question again. My question was, okay. My question is for how do we go about as small businesses addressing some of the membership dues? As I was looking through some of the websites, some of these membership dues are around like 3,000. Could go up or down depending on the type of business and number of employees. Are there any type of I guess scholarships, incentives, grants, or any type of assistance with these membership dues, which aren't really, they're not apparent if they're quarterly, if they're annual, if, you know, et cetera. So how do we go about getting past this barrier in order to do business with Dallas County?
This is Andrew with the Dallas-Fort Worth Minority Supplier Development Council. Looks like you went to our website and it looks like you went to our corporate dues because our certification fees for MBEs with revenues under $1 million is $270 annually.
Okay.
And so again, our corporate dues sound like what you were quoting there. That's for our corporations. We're a 501c3. Our corporations are our members, so it looks like you probably landed on their page before. We have a sliding scales, but if your revenues are under $1 million, it's $270 to get certified. And I know JP Morgan Chase had some opportunities out there where they were trying to get some certified employees and they were going to cover the cost, but there's a dollar threshold there. I think you had to be over a certain revenue amount, everything. But I can send you that information. I put my email there. Reach out to me. We'll see what we can do. We can see if we can work with you and put you in touch with some folks that may have some opportunities or may have some scholarships. And I'll turn it over to Nita, see if they had anything, because I know their fees are probably not 3,000 either.
Thank you.
No, that's right, Andrew. Our fee is also based on your gross revenue. It's an annual fee, and for applicants with less than 1 million in annual revenue, the fee's $350. It is an annual fee. We don't have any scholarships at the local level right now, or grants, I should say, at the local level. We do have a promotion that is somewhat of a grant in that annually we select from our members, they apply for a grant for the Lily Knox Foundation. That doesn't cover their fees. That is an investment towards equipment or expansion, or it could be any number of things. And those grants are significantly more than the actual annual certification fee, but we don't have anything to cover the fee right now.
And I saw a question pop up in both Anita and I'll make sure, but you have to be a for-profit organization for us to certify you, at least with the Dallas-Fort Worth Minority Supplier Development Council. And I think that's the same for the Women's Business Council. Anita?
That's true, yes. And you don't have to have been in business a certain length of time. You don't have to have either a minimum or maximum revenue threshold. The only time that a maximum revenue or number of employees comes into play is for the certifications as a small business.
I wanted to say from the NCTRCA standpoint, it's $100 for a 2-year certification. So it's $100 flat, 2-year certification. Just want to make sure we have that out there. So that's another agency we recognize. Obviously, we work with all the agencies, but they're $100.
Yes, ma'am.
So I do have a question for Anita.
You want to come?
Absolutely. Thank you. Hi, Anita. So in the instances where you've acquired your certifications through NCTC, the NCTRCA process, and that's more so for the local level, do you guys leverage those same documentation if you want to have certifications for the federal level?
Yes, that's a great question. NCTRCA is on the same application platform as we are. And if I understand your question correctly, when you log into your NCTRCA portal in B2G Now, you can link your current information to a new application with WBENC, the national organization. And it's going to require a whole lot of the same information and pretty much the exact same documents.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Are there questions online?
Yeah, we do have a few questions online. I guess one question is, are we going to receive the slideware and other printed materials associated with the presentation?
Yes. Can you hear me? Yes. Yeah, we're going to post it on our Dallas County purchasing website. Yes.
What are available options for startup companies that would like to participate in the bidding process?
Well, I would say, obviously, you look at the small dollars first because they're the easiest to meet from a requirement standpoint. So less than $50,000, we do a lot of small dollar transactions, somewhere in the $10 to $12 million range a year. So there's a lot of money. So you could do that, or you can look to partner with somebody and learn how to do business with a larger firm that's doing public agency business.
The follow-up question, so you must register to see both, to see the bids less than 50K.
If you register with BIDSYNC, you'll see all solicitations that go out for Dallas County, small or large. Yes.
That's all the online questions.
I think you had your hand raised.
Yeah.
It's easier to hear.
So this would actually be a question for both Andrew and Anita. What does your annual membership provide to us as small business as far as our investment for certification as well? But I know you mentioned there was an annual fee. So what other benefits are there to the membership with each of your respective nonprofits, agencies? Mm-hmm.
Well, the annual fee is for, the certification is for 1 year. So you reapply annually, and that is the recertification fee. The recertification process is much, much simpler than the initial certification process. We're just going to ask for maybe a half a dozen documents to renew your certification on an annual basis. But to answer your question, in addition to the certification being listed in both the national directory and our regional directory that's provided to our corporate members, your certification can be used with a lot of supplier diversity programs that aren't necessarily members of our council or even WeBank National Council. But in addition to the certification, there's opportunities to network with other WBEs, our corporate members. We have programs at all different levels. They're designed to be for startups and then, very mature, very successful companies. We try to offer, we have a very diverse membership, so we try to offer programs for all of our members. And one thing I'll just mention while we're talking about, the networking component to certification and belonging to a membership organization like ours and Andrew's, is that I encourage people not to discount opportunities to do business with other WBEs. don't just target our corporate members for business opportunities, but our WBEs do a great deal of business among themselves with each other.
And Anita, definitely ditto on the same things. We do a lot of events. The other thing that the council does is we run an MBDA Business Center with a grant from the MBDA in DC. So again, being certified with us, you have total access to the MBDA side. So if you're looking to do federal contracting, early in the year, we did an 8A certification workshop where we walked you through the entire application with SBA, and it was totally free for those folks. And like Anita said, we do a lot of networking events. Our access event that we do, our hard hat construction event that we do webinars. We just had Blue Cross Blue Shield and some folks for our health industry group. We have an IT industry group, a construction industry group. So again, the other value it's going to bring is networking. And as Anita said, that sometimes, you know, people look to do business with the corporations and public sector agencies, and we're going to bring those together. But definitely your other MBEs are great because, again, other MBEs, they need IT work, they need marketing, they need social media help. So again, what our organizations bring, both of our organizations bring, is an opportunity for you to network not only with the corporations, public sector agencies, which we call buying agencies, but with other MBEs that could possibly utilize your services.
I'd like to say from the Dallas County standpoint, from the public agency, we recognize folks that are certified for our small business program, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're not certified and you're doing business, you can still do business with us, but you're not going to meet any of the goals that are out there from our board. Yes. So it's important because that means something, because if we're working with a prime for a $25 million project and we have all these scopes that could potentially be subbed out because they're not doing the work, we're going to give them a list of people that are certified off of these lists. Mm-hmm. So we pull that list. They allow us to have their list of members, and we have a database in our office that this team uses every day that sends out lists of certified small businesses to the primes or anybody that's seeking that during a competitive process. So if they're a majority firm, they're not certified, and they're looking to try to meet our goal, mm-hmm. they're going to ask us for that list, and we're going to provide it to them of everybody that's met that requirement and is certified. So it's very important for us that we keep that relationship very tight with these organizations because we need them. Yeah. That list is very, very small. There's not a lot of people on that list, quite frankly. So it's a small list of an old yellow pages, basically, we're giving you out to the primes that otherwise you wouldn't get, right? Yeah. So I think that's one reason that's very important to be on there, because all the public agencies are doing the same thing we're doing. Yeah. They're putting these lists together as scopes. They're sending them out only of certified people that are recognized by these agencies in the region. And then they give you an opportunity to call. And then when we get bids or proposals back, we're making sure they called. Yeah. Say, did you call these folks or did you not? We're not going to let you go forward unless you called them and you said you don't want to work or your pricing's too high. They demonstrate that with us and we move on. So that's important, I think.
Okay. Awesome. And just one last question. I know there was a mention, I believe, from Anita or maybe from Andrew, as far as one of the requirements was 3 years of tax returns. Now, can you go a little bit in how long a business has to be established before we can begin, I guess, connecting with you? I'm 1 year in business, but, you know, for me, 3 years is, it would be a long time before we get to that actual time frame, so to speak. And I would just like to know if I'm restricted as far as your agencies to be able to become certified.
No, not at all. You could have started your business yesterday and apply for certification today. We do require 3 years of federal tax returns, but if your company has been in business for less than 3 years, you can substitute personal tax returns and just redact some of the sensitive information.
Yeah,
thank you.
Same thing with us, ditto. That's a good thing about me and Anita. We pretty much have about the same paperwork. So.
We've done this a few times, haven't we, Andrew?
Yes.
Good question.
We have one more request online for Andrew. Please repeat his contact information.
Andrew, could you please repeat your contact information?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I'm Andrew.
Or put it in the chat.
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat. I'll put it in the chat too, but it's Andrew, ANDREW at D as in David, F as in Frank, W as in Whiskey, M as in Mary, S as in Sam, D as in David, C as in cat.com. Andrew at dfwmsdc.com, and I will put it in the chat.
Yes, ma'am.
I had a question for Anita. Darlena Kelly actually had recommended around January, February that I join WeBank for my like women-owned business and get it registered and all those things. And I kind of started the process. One of the main question is, are y'all meeting in person again or not yet?
That's a good question. We had intended to start hosting some in-person events, but recent conditions, that's been pushed back again, unfortunately. Our harvesting partnerships meeting is next month, and that's going to be held virtually instead of in person.
Okay. And how often do you do in-person events? Like, so if they're Zoom or in person, how often do y'all hold these events?
Well, we have monthly meetings, like our Table Topics meets monthly. Our Austin WOW events meet monthly. And then we probably, I would say quarterly or every other month, we will have industry group gatherings. And then we have major events throughout the year, like we have our gala, we have harvesting partnerships, connections to contracts. That's an event, a big event where our WBEs have face-to-face time with our corporate buyers. So our events calendar is online at our website, and you can take a look at that and look at, they're all different sizes, and like the Table Topics, that's usually 40 to 60 people. But then some of our larger events, might be 600 or 700.
Okay. And part of the reason why I was asking is because when Darlena was first telling me about the group, I was like, oh, that sounds great. She's like, oh, but it's virtual right now. Of course, this was in the spring. Because I do feel like one of the main benefits that my company would benefit from is that networking amongst the other women business owners for that. And so that's kind of what I'm like, okay, if you're on a Zoom of 60 people, like, it's not really a thing as far as the network. Like, have they been able to network virtually, or really it's just whoever's speaking and maybe you have a question? Sorry, I'll stop taking too much time. Okay.
I'm so glad you asked that, because we have gotten feedback, from a lot of people who miss our in-person events, but we've also gotten feedback because from people who like the virtual, because they said they meet people that they would not ordinarily have met probably at an in-person event. At all of our events, our virtual events, they'll then do breakout rooms, and you can join different breakout groups. Like the last one I attended, they had 3 separate breakouts, and you just, scroll through and go to a different breakout, introduce yourself, have a conversation with, it's probably 4, 5, 6 tops other members. And we've gotten some very positive feedback that's beneficial to have kind of like, if you will, a captive audience in that breakout room.
Okay.
Yeah, and again, same thing with Anita. We're trying our best. I think our hard hat event was our last event we did in person. Great turnout, and you're right. People, want to shake hands or fist bump or whatever we're doing now, but we want to be, we don't want to put anyone in danger. We know that Dallas County Judge Clay Jenkins has put out some requests, Tarrant County, so we want to be mindful and respectful to those orders that are out there, and not put anyone in any kind of harm's way. And again, even if we do have an in-person event, small events, we definitely are asking folks to wear masks, sanitize, and do things like that. But right now, with everything going on, we're just really going to we're just really going to be real careful, and we're going to follow the CDC guidelines whenever we do open back up. And again, like Anita, definitely check our website. That's the best way to find out of networking events that we have as well.
Okay, thank you so much.
Good
Question
question.
from an attendee, I'll unmute EC Matthew.
Repeat that, Brian.
There's an attendee named EC Matthew requesting to ask a question, so there you go. EC, go ahead and answer.
Basically, to do business with the Dallas County, we had to have SBE qualification, right?
No, that's not correct. This is Mike Frost. You do not have to be certified by any agency to do business with Dallas County or any public agency. If we are going to count the participation as a small business, you'd have to be certified, but you can submit a bid or proposal without being certified. We do have goals that are on all of our solicitations, that we have aspirational goals for opportunities for small businesses to compete. So we would ask if you had any opportunities for subcontractors, but you do not have to be certified.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good question. Any other questions? Any other questions online?
Not at the moment. If you're an attendee in the session, you can push the raise hand button and I'll unmute you. If there are other questions online.
Okay, well, one of the things that, I do a number of town hall meetings over this period of time. And one of the things we try to do, just to make it a little more fun, is to have a raffle at the end. I think that most of you have gotten a ticket. Is that true? And so, it's just fun.
Okay, one more question real quick.
Okay.
Yolanda, you can unmute yourself. Yolanda Shepherd. There you are.
If we have an idea, do we submit that?
Submit what?
We have an idea. How do we submit
it?
Oh, Mr. Brush.
Sure. If you have an idea or something you think that we're not doing today, you can always email me directly at michael.frosch, F-R-O-S-C-H, F-R-O-S as in Sam, C-H, excuse me, at dallascounty.org. So michael.frosch, F-R-O-S as in Sam, C-H, at dallascounty.com. And I will either, you can send the information to me and I'll call you back.
Yeah, .org.
.org, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I've only been here 30 months. I should know this.
That's right, we can do that. And of course, if there are additional questions, we'll
Oh, they're doing it, okay.
You got to keep your part, right?
how do you want to pull them?
I
You
do.
you never get a chance to do this, do you?
That's the fun part.
Right. Okay, how about 672-457? 457.
Got to be present to win. Oh, yeah. They have to be here.
Come on down, and you are going to be so happy to see what you got. Because there was the mention made that the county government is public health, public safety. COVID obviously is one of the biggest items that we are involved with right now, and that is strictly public health. And so this is just a shirt that says, yeah, we support this. And I'm guessing that there are a lot of businesses across the Dallas area, Dallas County area, that recognize that's public health. If I take care of myself, I help you take care of yourself, and vice versa. Okay. One more. Oh, 2 or 3. All right.
672-458. 672-458.
Yeah, you're right.
Yay.
Okay, and how did you know each other? We don't do that.
No, whatever.
Another lucky number.
There you go. Let's mix it up.
Right. We're gonna die at this. 672-459. Okay, let's do one more. One more. Okay, it's a little out of order here. 6, 7, 2, 4, 5, 1. There you go. Well, all I got to say is thank you to all who have been here in person, and thank you to all of those online that doing business with Dallas County, first of all, will help your business, and second of all, will help Dallas County and the taxpayers of Dallas County do what we do to the best of all of our abilities. Really just appreciate you coming here, and now you've met Mr. Frosch and his staff, so don't be shy. And I do know that he's a very creative person and is always looking for better ways to do business. And listening to people, you may have small businesses, but you're here to stay in business and to continue growing and contributing to our communities. So with that being said, unless there are more questions.
2 more hands raised.
Oh.
Okay.
Woodrow Coleman, you're going to unmute yourself and ask your question. There you are.
Yes, sir. The question I have for you, I was asking, as being for your portion, the minority portion, how would it be? How would your portion be helpful for me as being a small business retail store? I will be the benefit of actually getting certified.
Andrew, Anita?
Oh, so you're small. What do you sell?
A variety of everything, like as far as clothing, shoes, furniture, like kind of like almost like a smaller version of, say, like a DD's or like a Roth type deal like that.
Again, being certified, I know, corporations, they buy different things, different gifts and stuff for their employees. Maybe it could be an employee kind of gift card to come there as a thank you there. So again, we would probably just have to sit down. A lot of our companies are more B2B than B2C, and if the C, if you're looking for more of the consumer, then we can help direct you to maybe a chamber membership, probably be more helpful than certification. But we can sit down and talk and look at your end goal and who you're trying to do business with, and then that'll tell us if the certification is going to be right for you, or maybe the chamber membership where they can get out and advertise you to, more of the consumer side. So let's talk about that. Definitely my email is there. Shoot me an email and we can talk about that and make sure that, if you want to get certified, that certification is right for you.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that.
Was there another question?
Yolanda Shepherd, did you have another question?
I think someone put in there audio and video production, and yes, that is a lot of our corporations. They do use AV for some of their in-house needs if they're having trainings and different things like that. So I do see opportunities for AV companies. Again, reach out to me or Anita, whichever one certification fits, but we do have some AV companies that even we use for our events in-house and out-house at convention centers and training sites. So yes, AV companies are definitely, certification is definitely a key for you.
Andrew's absolutely right about our corporations seeking AV media providers. Some of our larger WBEs are doing the same for their websites and things like that. So that might be an opportunity with other members as well. And one other thing I wanted to, when Andrew invited you to reach out to him or me, I would just like to add, I hope you'll reach out to both of us for the ladies in the group, because we both, Andrew and I both encourage people, if you can have more than one certification, get it. It raises your profile. There's benefits from both, belonging to both organizations. Yes, we work very closely together, but we have a different membership base and a little bit different corporate membership base. So if that is an option, it would be great if you were certified by both agencies.
Thank you very much. And good questions, and that's part of the point of all this. If you would like to drop your business card over here at the table, that would be great. And I know that you've already signed in, and so the purchasing department will have that information and make sure that you get anything else that would be helpful to you. I just wanted to say once again, thank you to everybody who has made this possible. All the purchasing department folks who obviously know their business and so bring that information. But just in order for us to do anything, we've got to work together in this stuff. We don't do any of it by ourselves. So as they say, go get them. And we look forward to continued communication and interaction with the way that we're able to, all of us, do business. So thank you very much.
Yeah, your question, Andy.
I think you're right.
Hey, I'm here.